I miss the good old days of the internet, the very early stages of YouTube, of hell, even back in the day, good old Facebook. You know, all the stuff that we took for granted in the early years of the internet because it was literally the Wild West. You could do all sorts of stuff and you could find just so many wacky websites, just some of the wildest stuff ever on the internet. And everyone kind of agreed that anything was cool. Anything was down and dirty. Everything was ready to be done. You know what I mean? Like there were no limits. No limits at all. You could pretty much say whatever the hell you wanted. Pretty much do whatever you wanted. It was the Wild West, and it was a beautiful thing. This was before, the bots, the BS algorithms that would just, try and sell you shit day in and day out, all the time. No, 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 no. Man, I miss those early years, especially early YouTube. Man, I remember the days of, when Minecraft was big, when Minecraft was the new shit, when Minecraft was how you got big on YouTube. Another thing would be Let's Playing. Let's Playing used to be huge back in the day. I remember watching the Rad Brad play Dead Space 2, all sorts of games back in those days. You know? MK Ice and Fire, another notable oldie who just was one of the best Let's Players ever because it's just no commentary, just pure gameplay. And the guy's still chugging along to this day. Same with the Rad Brad. Says tons of people, tons of oldies are still around to this day. But there's also a lot of people who've passed. Like, for example, Basherverse. You know, Basherverse had an unfortunate end, and it's very disappointing and sad to see how he went and how he's just gone now and he's never coming back ever. Sky Does Minecraft is another one. I watched him quite a bit in the early 2010s. He was probably one of my favorite Minecraft YouTubers ever. But now he's gone. He doesn't really upload. Everyone's getting old. All the OGs are pretty much gone. Scene was a big guy, but funnily enough, recently speaking, he has come back. He is back. Scene is back. He just took a very, very long hiatus, but that's okay, you know? The guy is married, he's got his own kid now. Like, he's doing well for himself, and that's a good thing to know. Like, not every YouTuber is like doing shit or doing terrible. There are quite a few that are doing well who've been in the game for a very well ever since the start. PewDiePie is very notable as to like being the guy. He was around during the old years of YouTube, and it's kind of sad that he's taken a seat back, but I understand why, because of all the controversies with him. Especially with the whole N-word thing, which is just like so overblown out of proportion, but everyone's calling him a Nazi now for whatever reason, because he's just a Swedish dude. He's white, I guess. That's the issue. But I don't know. I was never a super huge PewDiePie fan back in the day, but I watched his early videos, I forget the name of it. It's been so long. When he used to play horror games back in the day. Yeah, Amnesia. Yeah, his Amnesia Let's Play. I remember those days. Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Now, those guys are a little bit of the newer, little bit newer, but they're still pretty much OGs, in my opinion. But, yeah, that, those old days are gone, alright? And I guess was the Vanoss crew. They're doing pretty well, even though Some members are gone now. They don't really mess around anymore. But even then, they're pretty much all doing well for themselves. But yeah, it's just, it was a different time. It was a different time. People weren't as sensitive as they used to, like as they were back in those days. Like you could shit talk someone. Like I remember vividly, you could shit talk someone on MW2 and call them all sorts of shit, and no one would really care because, you know, that was a culture back in the day. That was early internet culture. It was very fucking mean. I'll tell you that. It was very mean. Very bro culture. Where you could shit talk as a whole hell of a lot. Like, especially with like MW2, Halo, all those games with voice chats. Like, you could hear some of the most off-key shit possible, but some of the funniest shit possible as well. It was amazing. But nowadays, like, all you got are, you know, the censorship of the chats. Like, no one's allowed to shit talk anymore. Voice chats are pretty much mute and dead most of the time because, you know, the policy of, oh, we can't, we have a policy of no bullying or no toxicity. It's like, okay, look, I get it. But I feel like gamers are just a very, very rambunctious bunch, and fucking anyone on the internet is an asshole, pretty much. Like, I have yet to see someone on the internet that isn't somewhat of an asshole or trolls people or fucks with people. Very rarely do I see people who are like on the internet not like that. And I'm tired of pretending that people aren't like that. Dude, everyone's like that. Everyone's like that. But you have the sensitivity culture, which, I mean, cyberbullying, the cyberbullying thing is like, yeah, I mean, I guess it can get a little out of hand. I'm not really here to disprove that and saying cyberbullying is like fucking just not real. It's quite real, I would say. You know, people have hurt themselves or made attempts on their own lives because of that. Because, you know, the internet is kind of hard to run away from, and especially if you're like going to a school of all these people who are shitting on you. Yeah, like 24/7, it's gonna make you go crazy and want to blow your brains out. But again, it's like you're not allowed to say anything anymore. You're not allowed to have anything fun. You're not allowed to be in any shape or form anything controversial. Everything has to be advertiser friendly. And geez, even the advertisers back in the day at least tried to be somewhat entertaining, because like they had some uniqueness now, because ads nowadays are just all the same. It's just the same slop, attention seeking, brain rot shit that is just on YouTube now, especially. And one of these days I probably will just like do a video on just YouTube advertisements and the state of it and how fucking bad it is. And I don't blame anyone who's wanting to use ad blockers. Like, I remember back in the day, like, this shows how old I am, is like, you know, YouTubers back in the day complaining about, you know, mid-roll ads. Like, there are too many mid-roll ads. Like, automatic mid-roll ads are insane. Like, people back in those days, or the 10, you know, the 10-minute or 8-minute meta for the YouTube algorithm, like these old metas that, you know, like YouTubers just fucking hated. And over time, the site just degraded. Like, I remember the time when there was the dislike button. Like, that dates me pretty old, where you could actually see dislikes and didn't have to get a goddamn extension to see the dislike ratio. Like, I don't know, like, once you start getting to the point, it's like, oh, I can't see likes or dislikes. Like, that's just fucking bullshit. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I have to get a YouTube extension, like a browser extension, to find out how many people like or dislike this video. Why would I do that? Like, why would you do that? How is that a feature? You're just taking out features. And, you know, the first time YouTube Premium was rolled out, like, that was pretty insane. No one would have ever thought that at all on YouTube. And YouTube Shorts, you know, that was more of a recent thing in the grand scheme of things. But even then, it's like short form content was just a kind of a new thing for YouTube, because everyone tried to make like super long videos and very extensive videos, or because of, you know, the 10-minute mark. You know, people want to purposely extend it to the 10-minute mark to get those mid-roll ads to, you know, pursue the meta. But even then, even with those problems, at least a lot of content was still original, or there was still good content on YouTube, and people were still not so empty and so vapid for the success. Which, look, I get it. I understand that if you really want to succeed at that and make money, that you do have to do those things. And, you know, I'm not too overly harsh, but at least have some uniqueness to you at some level. But yeah, no, it's just awful, just really awful with just how content is nowadays. It's just all the fucking same with a lot of shit. And I don't know, I think people can only have the same garbage for so long before the whole damn thing starts collapsing. But I'm more keen to say that at some point things will probably heal themselves, that, you know, the slop content will disappear one day because people just get so fucking tired of it that they won't watch it anymore. Because, man, how can you keep going through that for a long enough time? I don't know. Or maybe the future is bleak. I don't know. Generation Alpha is a fucking mess already. They have. I'm pretty sure they're less literate than my generation, Gen Z. So, God, that's kind of crazy to think, is that a generation after me, they're going to be less literate than me, meaning that they can't read books. That's insane. I don't know. But I would say one day the internet will heal. I'm being positive today. Very rare at some point, because I feel as if things can only go on for so long when it comes to slop. Like, I don't know. I mean, Mr. Beast is probably the pinnacle of everything that's wrong with modern YouTube and just the modern internet. It's just sensational, vapid, fake as fuck, highly edited, dopamine rush. I don't know. I think there will be a shift in the desire for actual proper entertainment and authenticity. People do want that still, and I think people have always wanted that. And I think, at the very least, Twitch, the Twitch streamer community is, at the very least, it's on its last legs, in my opinion, on how Twitch is, with how bad it's gotten with Twitch and the streamer culture there. And I really do think that it's going to face a collapse, and that's probably a good thing, in my opinion, because I don't know how long the selfishness, the vapidness, the just all the selfish, terrible, narcissistic people on that platform, I just don't think it can last too long, because just so much evil and so much fucking maliciousness can only fester for so long before it just all explodes. So I would say that there is a chance. I would say the future does look somewhat brighter for the internet. Some things might get better, some things will probably get worse, but I think things will find an equilibrium, and you'll have a trade-off. It won't be the same as the early years of the internet. I'm not under any illusion of that. People have changed too much and things are far too different. But I'll say this, the internet will change, as all things do, but I think it will get somewhat better, because people do want more, and people can only cope for so long with just slop. That is my closing statement. That is that. Alright. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys later.